Ladies and gentlemen, it is the 210th day of Russian invasion and the ninth year of war of the Russian Federation against Ukraine. It is Andrei Shevchenko with you, Ukraine Media Center. I welcome all the journalists who are disseminating the truth about our fight for freedom. Here with us we have Vitaliy, the head of the Mykolaiv military administration. Mr. Kim, so what are the updates as for now for this morning? Good morning. We don't really have any urgent updates. Our armed forces of Ukraine have killed the invaders and destroyed some equipment. We didn't really have shelling in the area, just some of the districts. And we also can talk about the shelling close to the contact lines. So the situation has been quite calm over the past 24 hours. Our armed forces uh, also destroyed some of Iranian ammunition that Russians use. The drone and two drones Orlan were also hit by our forces. 2 days ago, there was a shelling of the territory close to the South-Ukraine NPP. We could see the information in the news that was 300 meters away from the reactor. What is your take on the situation? Well, there are two things to be mentioned here. In terms of South Ukraine NPP, this is an object which requires a higher level of security. There were some measures taken in that vicinity to prevent from aggression. Of course, that we cannot protect ourselves from this massive attack, but people there have some iodine tablets, and there is also communication and logistics established within this territory. There will be more transportation, but we have a problem with transportation because a lot of vehicles have been put to use. It is a relevant issue to us, and we are talking about our fleet and about improving the situation. But could you please explain the importance of transportation and its availability? Well, the number of people who are in a 30-kilometer zone, which should be evacuated in case there is an attack on this territory, is not sufficient, and it means that we will have to take several rounds. That is why it's important for us to work out the logistics to make sure that we can facilitate and improve this process, so we can use private carriers, that in case anything happens, it would be possible for us to take people out from that area. But again, it's very important for us to have these additional buses. In case there is a danger, we can also use these vehicles as evacuation vehicles. So it is a theoretical plan. In case anything happens, yes, this is some preliminary planning, and this is what I'm just trying to explain, that there is a lack of vehicles because we know that very many vehicles are used for the military purpose. As far as the assault is concerned, this missile strike, our specialists have established that it is Iskander type, and it is an attack with a very high level of precision, and it was done in order to keep blackmailing and just to keep blackmailing Ukrainian people and just to make a statement by doing that. But the terrorists say that you should not really say that we are terrorists, because then we can do this thing and we can hit the South Ukraine NPP. This is the way I understand their action. Well, we do each time this, logic exercise, trying to work out how their logic works of our enemy. So it can be one-time event, but it could also be a systemic nuclear blackmailing. Yes, this is exactly the way I see it. And Russian media today have published the statement of the president of the Russian Federation and the defense minister, Shoigu, about the referendums and the use of weapons. and lots of other rubbish, ideological rubbish, some messages about new Russia or historical Novorossiya, they call it, claiming that these are the reasons for taking the Ukrainian territory. What would you say to Putin? I would tell him to go and, well, I would send him far and far away to Siberia because historically Kuban is also Ukrainian territory, and this division happened long before he was even born. That is why he's not really the person to teach us history lessons. As far as mobilization is concerned, I think that he should have admitted that the tasks that he gave are not being fulfilled, and he had actually to remove his forces from the territory of Ukraine, including Crimea. Instead of that, he started with partial mobilization, which, from the legal viewpoint, is actually mobilization in the territory of the Russian Federation. Well, that's the way I see the situation. The first category of the people mobilized in Russia, these are people like soldiers and sailors under 35. And given the fact that the key group of voters are the elderly people, according to statistics, these are people over 60, well, at least over 55. What he's trying to do is to use these young people, those who understand at least something, those who can use the internet, in order to increase the percentage of support of the elderly people, those who are supporting him. And at the same time, he has also made a statement that there would be referendum in occupied territories of Ukraine, that those people who receive the passport, well, this is my understanding because I'm not really an expert in the field, those people who are passport holders in occupied territories, they are also to be drafted, and actually they will become cannon fodder. So they are blackmailing people because on the one hand they say it would be impossible for you to receive pension, to pay bills, you need a passport, and after that they say now when you have a passport you have to join the army because it's your duty to die for Russia. Can we be talking about the fact that one of the reasons for this decision was Russia's uncertainty about its position in the southern part of Ukraine? I assume that it is one of the components because our armed forces, they are showing great results. The president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, mentioned that initiative is something that Ukraine is moving ahead with. That is why I think that we can claim that Russian president is not really certain about further developments, and by human resources, he's trying to patch up those holes which they have in their army. Could you foresee the developments with pseudo-referendum in occupied territories of the Kherson and Zaporizhia Oblast in southern part of Ukraine? When we talk about the southern part of Ukraine, I think that it is 8-10% of the population which is in this temporary occupied territory is going to participate in referendum. And how many of these people, 8-10%, will actually vote for or against? I don't really have the data, but I know that when we talk about some legal consequences and importance, this is something which will not be there because all developed countries have recognized that, and other partners, the US, European countries. So, as it is in a joke, you can take. It makes no sense to participate in a referendum because it is illegal. But if it is illegal, then you can. There could be a case open against you. Yes, I don't know how this law works, but so it makes no sense actually to participate. But I think that Russians are going to force people, other people, and actually to bring other people to create this picture that the referendum actually took place. So Vitaliy Kim, the head of the Mykolaiv military administration, thank you for this conversation. Thank you. And the next briefing will take place at 12 o'clock. We will talk to Petro Bashta, ambassador of